Welcome all. Today we are going to discuss the topic payment of GST. So, how to make GST payment? GST payment can be made in two ways. The first one is payment through credit ledger, that is, and the second one is payment through cash ledger. So, the payment of GST can be made in two ways. The first one is payment through credit ledger, and the second one is payment through cash ledger. Let us discuss the first one. The credit of ITC can be taken by dealers for GST payment. The credit can be taken only for payment of a tax. Interest, penalty and late fees cannot be paid by utilizing ITC. Next one, payment through cash ledger. GST payment can be made online or offline. The challan has to be generated on GST portal for both online and offline GST payment. Where tax liability is more than rupees 10,000, it is mandatory to pay taxes online. That is, if the tax liability is more than 10,000, it is mandatory, that is, it is compulsory to pay the tax online. Okay, then what is the penalty for non-payment or delayed payment? Is it is punishable? That is the non-payment is punishable? Of course, yes. That is, there will be a penalty for non-payment or delayed payment. For, not only for non-payment, but also for delayed payment, there is a penalty. If GST is short paid, unpaid or paid late, that is, if GST is short paid, that is partially paid, unpaid, that is didn't paid, or paid late, interest at a rate of 18% is required to be paid by the dealer. That is, an 18% of the interest rate should be given by the payer to the authority. Also, a penalty to be paid. The penalty is higher of rupees 10,000 or 10% of the tax short paid or unpaid. So, please note students, that is, the penalty will be should be paid in case of the if the GST is unpaid, partly paid or paid late. Okay. Let us discuss the normal GST payment process. Okay, what is the process of payment of GST? There are two types of process. The first one is normal GST payment process. When the supplier of goods or service supply the goods or service to the receiver of goods or service, the receiver means a consumer. If the retailer or if the shopkeeper or the seller is selling the goods or services to the consumer, then the consumer will pay the amount with the GST. Okay, we are very familiar with that, isn't it? That is, if we are going to a hotel, if we ate the food, then it is our responsibility to pay the bill along with the GST. There will be a GST, there will be separate part for the GST in that bill, isn't it? So, when we are consuming something, we have to pay the bill amount along with the GST, and the supplier will hand over this GST, the collected GST, to the government. This is the normal GST payment process. We know that GST is not a direct tax, GST is an indirect tax. The second one is GST payment in case of reverse charge. That is, in case if the buyer itself is paying the GST, it means that GST payment in case of reverse charge. Okay. So, the supplier of goods and service will be give the product to the consumer or the receiver of goods and service, and then the receiver will pay the GST directly to the government. There is no contact between supplier of goods and service and the government in case of reverse charge. It is not as much as familiar as the normal GST payment process. Okay. Who should make the payment? These dealers are required to make GST payment. The dealers. Okay. A registered dealer is required to make GST payment if GST liability exists. The GST dealer is the person who makes the payment. The dealer should be registered. Please be noted. The dealer should be registered. Registered dealer required to pay tax under the reverse charge mechanism, that is RCM. E-commerce operator is required to collect and pay TCS. TCS means TCS. Dealers required to deducting TDS. TDS means tax deducting at source, etc. You will be very familiar with that terms. When should GST payment be made? So it is very important in the examination point of view. When should GST payment be made? GST payment is to be made when the GSTR 3 is filed, that is by 20th of next month, that is 20th of every month. The GST should be paid at the 20th of every month. It is very important, and the form or the GSTR 3 is filed, that is by the 20th of every next month. Okay, I think the class is very clear to you. If there is any doubt, please feel free to contact with us. Thank you.